WhatsApp had said it will roll out usernames so that people can share their WhatsApp coordinates without sharing their phone numbers. Though a phone number will still be necessary to run WhatsApp, you can choose not to share the number with everyone. The Indian government, however, has put WhatsApp's plans on hold. It has asked the messaging business to guarantee that usernames won't encourage frauds. Until the government is convinced of the new feature, the rollout has been paused. What guardrails has WhatsApp ensured to keep bad actors from misusing the username feature, and why should people want to protect their phone numbers? Let's dive into this today on TLDR, where we address the questions everyone's asking and we make it crisp and fast. I'm Deepavali, and with me is my co-host Garima.
Hello everyone. So first things first, are usernames foolproof or fraud-proof? Surely there can be multiple usernames of the same person. When you use Instagram, for example, your username could be say Pooja.Singh. An imitation handle could be Pooja_Singh or P capital Pooja.Singh and so on. So such accounts can copy your display picture and hijack your identity to commit scams. Public figures are often the target of such fraudsters. Some of them add the word official along with the fake username to masquerade as authentic. So how do we know that the person behind the username is actually someone you know and not someone impersonating them? This is particularly worrisome with the rise of number of cases where scammers create a sense of urgency, pretend they are friend or relative, and demand money from close contacts. When there is no way to verify whether you are being contacted by the real person because the phone number is not shared with you, what happens then? Of course, even with phone numbers, SIM frauds happen where scammers control your phone number on a new SIM by convincing your telecom service provider that they're you and that you lost your phone and need the number transported to a new SIM. They're able to do this by tracking your digital footprint, the info you share publicly, and through phishing emails. Now back to usernames. Do they really add a layer of security? On the surface, yes. We use WhatsApp for multiple reasons, not just personal communication. WhatsApp has become an essential feature of Indian work life. Businesses connect with customers over WhatsApp. A lot of our professional works get done on WhatsApp. Professional contacts are stored there. So if there is a way to stay connected with our network without necessarily handing them our phone numbers, I would definitely buy in, but not without some guardrails, which we come to next. Can you expand on that, Deepavali?
Yeah, sure, Karima. So, what are the guardrails for using usernames? WhatsApp has said that users still require a phone number to use the messaging service, and that it has built multiple layers of defense against scams in usernames. Like, other users need to know the exact username you're using to message you, like whether it includes a full stop or a underscore, things like that. There won't be a search function for usernames. So anyone who wants to contact another person, another user by their username will need to know exactly every character. For added privacy, after setting up a username, you'll have the option to set a username key, which is a password that anyone who tries to message you will also need to know. WhatsApp will limit how many new people an account can contact, block repeated attempts to guess someone's username key, and have systems to detect and remove activity that shows a suspicious pattern, such as accounts that impersonate or abuse policy. WhatsApp has also said that once the feature becomes available and someone sends a message for the first time via their usernames, WhatsApp will show if they are a new account, if they are in your contacts, if they are in common groups, and if they are based in a different country, so that you can choose whether or not to respond. Now one might ask, why should we care about phone number privacy, especially in a world where this information is so freely shared? In fact, phone numbers are prerequisites for essential services. Even some non-essential services demand our phone numbers first before proceeding with transactions. And in fact, that's precisely why phone number privacy matters. Over to you.
So the phone number is practically your identity, or to put it differently, it is an important identifier. Banks send OTPs to your phone for verification. Government services require phone number for verification. So if this information gets into wrong hands, it can jeopardize our security. Recently, the Insurance Authority flagged what it called dark pattern by insurance providers. They questioned why mobile numbers, among other personal info, are sought when customers apply for policy info online. When a customer wants a quote on a policy product, they have to fill in personal details, and immediately after that they receive a call from the insurance provider offering help selecting a product. So Ajay Seth, the chairman of IRDAI, said product discovery was hidden behind a wall of personal data collection, and this indeed is a dangerous pattern. So many businesses and services already require our phone numbers that we can be sure our digits are shared across multiple databases. It is surely free available online, and that is a trespass on privacy itself. So one of the biggest threats is SIM hijacking. Hackers can transport your number to a new SIM by convincing your telecom service provider that you have lost your phone. So this allows them to intercept your text messages, bypass two-factor authentication, and hijack your bank and social media accounts. Therefore, the lesser private information you share publicly, such as your birth date, your address, place of birth, etc., the more difficult it will be for scammers to attack you.
Absolutely. But let's now focus on why WhatsApp is doing this. Why is it rolling out usernames? So, of course, security is one layer, but some tech experts are also considering the fact that WhatsApp may be trying to introduce a single sign-in across all Meta platforms. This means every user will be connected to a single username, and this will enable more efficient customer profiles, which is a boon for advertising. Now, although WhatsApp's primary revenue stream is its business API, that is, it charges a fee from medium and large businesses to send messages to customers on WhatsApp. And also remember, WhatsApp's ad-free approach is what's behind its meteoric rise as the world's most favorite messaging platform. So WhatsApp won't plug ads in your chats, but tying all activity to a single username might enable it to curate a better user profile, and that might have benefits across Meta's platforms. Though WhatsApp chats are end-to-end encrypted, Meta can track user behavior. It knows the businesses that you're interacting with, your product catalog viewing habits, what time you are messaging, and how often, when are you most active on WhatsApp, and so on. Now, let's turn to what this means for businesses. The feature has not yet been rolled out yet, and WhatsApp is currently allowing users to reserve a username for themselves to avoid overlaps with other users. For creators, small businesses, and organizations that may want to maintain a consistent presence online, WhatsApp will allow an option to claim their existing Instagram or Facebook username on WhatsApp.
Yeah, right. So finally, summing up this subject, while we think WhatsApp usernames are a good privacy feature, now that the government has raised a question over it, many Indians who are already uneasy about their digital privacy may want to opt out of this feature if they're not fully convinced about the security perks it may offer. And they may also trust WhatsApp less if it is unable to weed out bad factors promptly. So fraudsters always find a way around security features like this, and before they figure out how to exploit any vulnerability, WhatsApp will have to stamp out fraud accounts. So this invariably becomes a whack-a-mole game. But social media giants with their AI-powered content moderation tools should have the resources to stay ahead of the bad actors and banish them once their activities are flagged or detected. So with that, we wrap up this episode of TLDR. Thank you for listening. We'll see you the next time in the next episode.
You are listening to Earshot Podcasts. Find us on our website, earshot.in, on YouTube at Earshot Media, and download our app, Earshot, Indian Podcast app.